extra stuff. Right? And I got one of these over here. And I get this right here. I'm feeling this right here. $2.96. So Texas saves us again. So we're gonna try out these things right here. One of these things right here. So as I was saying, these are actually known as the Slim Jim Savage. So they actually have a spicy savage thing that goes, whoops, I gotta get going here for a second. The thing is that I just started. I'm brand new. We're the brand new comedy. It's brand new, just now happening. At this moment, we just started. And tomorrow will be the same and the same. Now, of course, we could do stadiums eventually. There'll be vloggers that switch over to stadiums, doing like stand-up in front of stadiums of people, like, for example, Scott on Tape and stuff. They'll eventually will get there. They'll do big crowds, you know, stand-up routines and things like that. And of course, they'll be vlogging themselves as they do it, you know. They'll be watching someone holding a microphone and vlogging themselves at the same time. And occasionally they'll turn and face the audience so you can see all the people that are behind them. Just watch. I'll sell out to stadiums. This looks cool right here. It almost looks, that's weird looking. Yeah, it's very David Lynch right there. I don't know if that's abandoned. That's actually a restaurant right there. That looks like a scene. I have to find out where I'm at, though. There's a Griff's, Griffs, and a barbed wire fence kind of looking thing. Griff's is the name of the restaurant right there. I'm not going there, but it looked like a cool little filming location. And this is like, what is that? Oh, they're hamburgers. These are hamburgers, Griff hamburgers. Not that many of them. This is Jacksboro Highway. According to my dad, this is like where all the crime is in the Fort Worth area. I don't really agree with it, really. I think there's worse places, but that's what he said. I don't see anything wrong with it. You know, there's normal businesses. He had a liquor store over here a while back, many years ago. I mean, anybody that works in a liquor store, there's always going to be crime. You know, it's like everyone that walks in's a criminal, basically, at a liquor store, the owner, you know. This is also a Cowtown bowling lane. You know, I mean, if you own a liquor store, everybody that walks into you is pretty much like a criminal, is what I was trying to say. You know, like, why would they even be there buying hard liquor? You can make your own home a bomb shelter. So what you do, if you live in a house, it doesn't have to be below ground or anything like that. All you do is you just get cement. You make cement walls probably about that thick. It takes time, of course, but in a revolution, it takes a long time till they get to your door. So what you do is you just buy cement and you just start putting cement on the outside layer of your home, which is a perfect foundation. And then you just start building on that, let it dry. And over time, the cement will dry. You can paint over it. You can make it to where people can't even tell that it's there, because you can put a fake interior on the inside, on the outside of the cement, but you'd make it on the inside. Of course, it's going to be smelly because of the cement, but usually it's not that bad. Cement's not that bad. And you just tomb yourself into your home. Now, the ceiling part will be the hardest because it'll drip downward, but then you can do the bottom, do a cement. You want to do the cement about that thick. So you want to have the bottom thick, the walls thick, and the ceiling part thick. You also want to leave probably about that much of a hole and 4 sides of it for the oxygen to come in. Of course, you can have your own generator too, and you don't want to keep the generator probably below the actual home. You could put the generator above it, but they probably get that. I'll tell you about it more later. People are living in bomb shelters. You know, these bomb shelters that people are living in, they will survive a nuclear holocaust. especially the ones that are below the ground. So your bomb shelter that's built like 60 feet below the ground or whatever it is, 6 stories below ground or whatever, those will actually survive a Holocaust, nuclear Holocaust, not a Holocaust. I was just talking about Sarah Silverman. Don't get that part mixed up. I'm talking about a nuclear Holocaust. So it will survive. Now, the ones that are above ground, that just, you're cementing your own self into your house, and then you've got the ground foundation part cemented of about 6 feet or so. Then you've already got a lot of shelter if you have a home anyway. The only thing is that you would want to cement it about, I'd say, about this much. It'd take a lot of time. It could take even a year to do it. But what it'll do is you do sections at a time, columns. You start with columns, then you fill in those columns, and then you start, it goes all around the house. First you do the wall. The ceiling's going to be the hard part. You'd have to ask an expert about that, but it can be done. And then the bottom, probably want to do the bottom last. The reason why you want to do the bottom last is because you're going to have drippage from the ceiling and probably from the wall. And you don't want to do the bottom first, because then you're going to have more dripping that will pile up on the bottom. So do the bottom last because of all the dripping that you'll have. Then you'll be able to perfect the bottom, because you want the bottom to be also important. Because remember, they can dig under, or they can go through the side, or they can go through the roof. So a lot of people are living in bomb shelters now, and they will probably survive the nuclear Holocaust. Don't know when, though. I don't know when it's going to happen. It's been prophesized, but don't know when the exact date is going to happen. Putin's pretty pissed off right now. So, and in Ukraine and all that stuff's going on. And Russia, let me tell you this. Russia, they don't mess around. Those people aren't going to mess around. Neither is China. Neither is North Korea. None of those types of countries are going to mess around at all. The best bet is probably... Check out the dictators. Yeah, probably. That'd probably be the best bet. What happened with bin Laden. And hey, bin Laden was a dictator. He was a dictator of the whole country. He ran all of that area of the Sunni Triangle and everything. He was a dictator. When I first got back from Maine, I tried to work for a company that sold credit card rates. They also sold the credit card machines. And the only interest I got in anybody, or the only interest that, responded, or the only person that responded with interest, there we go. The only person that responded with interest was this young kid. He was probably like maybe 18. He was a skateboarder. And he had his own skate shop and a little tiny, we're talking like in a room, mini ramp that was inside the shack. And he was running a business. He even had a credit card machine, like a Verifone or whatever. And he signed all the paperwork because he was going to get the new credit card machine. I was going to hook him up, and that was going to be my first big sell for credit card rates. Don't even remember the company. I called a friend of mine that lived in Round Rock. He said that the guy that was running it got in trouble. He was a CEO. He was like on trial for something. So I went ahead and started selling Kia for a little while. Then I got involved in banking. I became a banker for a while. Then after that, I got into rideshare like Uber. And then after that, I started doing Uber Eats and things like that. Anyway, he was Postmates and all that stuff. He was right over here. It was a little tiny shack. It was a small little skateboard shop. And I was like, you've got to get these new credit card machines. The credit card rates are wonderful. And I would hook it up and everything like that. And it was going to be my first big sell. And I got the job when I was in Maine. So that's what I came to Texas to do. I was going to sell credit card machines. I did get some interest from this place right here, but they're not there anymore. It was a bait shop. It was right there. I think it was. No. Maybe it was right over there. somewhere around here there was a bait shop they sold, because I remember that racetrack. It was brand new. The racetrack had just opened, but it was like a bait shop, and they were also thinking about allowing me to install the new credit card machines. This is before I had kids and everything. Every morning you'd have to wake up and get on the phone, and there'd be a community meeting of these guys that were selling credit card machines, like Verifone and stuff. But it wasn't Verifone, it was another company. There was a privately owned company out of Utah, I think. I don't know how the guy got in trouble, the guy that was running it, but he got in trouble or something. So I don't know what everyone else did, but they were selling it, and they'd have meetings like, well, I went to this one mom and pop tire shop, and they wanted a new credit card machine, so I gave it to them. And I had one interest in a video, a VHS video and DVD. So they did DVD videos, and he was interested. It was right over there by the Angelica. He also signed the paperwork, and I was going to get him signed up and everything. And I moved on to Kia for, I don't know, maybe a few months. And then the pre-owned guy kind of got me in some trouble or something. I took one of their pre-owned cars, and I backed it up, and I couldn't see the pole. There was a light pole, and so I smashed the car into a light pole, and it, you know, kind of bruised the bumper of the car. So they were, you know, I didn't say anything about it. But the pre-owned manager, one of the pre-owned managers or assistant managers, saw it. It was like, oh, okay. And I backed the car into a light pole. I was supposed to be a car salesman. So it didn't really work out. And then the lead guy, or one of the lead sales guy, who was in charge of the new cars, so new car sales, he pulled me in. I think it was Chipman. He had like a family. He used to bring him on the lot, and they'd ride around in his little Jeep. He goes, you know, we're going to go in a different direction. I was like, oh, okay. So I moved on there, and then a few weeks later, I met this lady, and she told me to apply at a bank. So I started being a banker. Hang on a second. I got to read something real quick. I used my eyes a lot as a banker. They were constantly looking at accounts all day long. Let me tell you, you're talking about corruption. Corruption in banking is not always from the bank side. Now, it has been HSBC. They got fined millions of dollars for taking billions of dollars of cartel money in New York City. HSBC, they got in a lot of trouble. A lot of banks have gotten in a lot of trouble because all the cash that flows through a bank, the bankers and the bank managers and the bank owner, they're responsible for every penny, especially what they're given, okay? So each day you're allotted a certain amount of money. And each bank, each branch can have anywhere between $80,000 up to $250,000. Banks don't really have as much as you think. You don't think like every bank has $1 million. No, that's not how it works. At the most, they would have like $200,000 during tax season at the most. So you don't really know the exact amount your bank has, but the teller is dealing with a lot of sweat because they're responsible for that money, and they can be, you know, called in for missing money. And you can't watch your money because we were the type of bank that would go out there and we'd make sales. We'd actually sell products and services for the bank. So we couldn't always be right next to our money. Most tellers are right next to the money, but in a lot of cases they're not. And there were rumors that bankers were borrowing money and then returning it later, or maybe borrowing money and going gambling or whatever and then returning the money. Don't know. I didn't see any of that myself, but I did get cases where people would bring in money, cash, that were from the customer, from the other side of the front line. And man, these things would smell like big time marijuana. So we'd have to report that. And also any kind of fake bill that we would get, any kind of counterfeit bill, we'd have to report that to the Secret Service. Let's say that you're counting a bunch of money and you're a banker, and all of a sudden you come across a fake $20 bill. The first thing that you do with the $20 bill is you go, okay, where did this come from? Well, we don't know. We didn't take any account of it. All we did was put it in an envelope and put Secret Service on it. That's it. We'd take the counterfeit bill, because we could smell that it was fake, or we could feel that it was fake, or we could tell that the bill was fake. All we did was put it in an envelope and send it to Secret Service. The customer never got in any trouble. Nobody got in trouble. It just went to the Secret Service. That was it. And so a man is choked to death by a police officer on the street because, well, he had a fake $20 bill. Didn't make any sense at all. All the police officers do is take the $20 bill and send it to Secret Service. Have a good day, George Floyd. Instead, he went to prison. Not George Floyd, the police officer. See how it works? There's counterfeit money everywhere, and people don't even know they have it. Not even all the bankers know that there's counterfeit money. It's everywhere. It's all over the place. They have a huge counterfeit problem, but people don't even know it. That's how good the counterfeiters are, and most of it's coming from like Brazil and stuff. I have to pee. Pee urine. Pee urine. I have to pee urine. Pee. Pa. I said pee. Pee. I have to pee urinate.
Schindler's, you know what?
You're looking for a wheelbarrow. Okay. Here's a wheelbarrow again.
Alright, it's probably the one on the corner. Yeah, we can probably get back there. That's probably the one with the light on.
Look, kids, Big Ben.
What is an awkward turn?